Alright, what it do, cheeky crew? Today we're covering my picks for UFC Fight Night. Dolidze versus Vettori 2. I'm just gonna get right into it because, it's a school night for me. I got my studies here. But anyways, I'm just gonna cover all the WMMA fights at the starts because I don't want to go through them all because they're bum shit. I don't really have good picks for them. Stephanie Luciano versus Sam Hughes. I'm going with Hughes 29-28. I know Hughes. Don't know the other girl. Josiana Nunez versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I'm going to go with Cachoeira 30-27. Cachoeira at least landed 2 rounds against Shevchenko. And she was getting beaten up horribly in that fight. So she's got heart. She's not a quitter. I don't know about the other girl. And for Unice Dubin versus Carly Judice, whatever. I'm going with Dubin by first round KO. Dubin actually chinned her Dana White Contender Series opponent, and she's pretty big and masculine. Like she seems like a good 160, 165 pound woman. I respect that. Maybe not 160, but like 140, 150 range. That's a good pick. Anyways, for the first male fight of the night, we got Daniel Perez versus Andre Lima. I will be going with Andre Lima by a 30-27 decision. And I tell you this because Perez is 1-2 in the UFC, and he's 36 years old. He's not a terrible fighter, I guess. I don't know. He's coming off a win against Victor Altamirano or whatever that guy's name is. But they're feeding him to Andre Lima, who is like their biggest flyweight prospect at the moment. There's really nobody else bigger than him except like a Ramazan Tamirov. You know what I mean? He's an undefeated kickboxer with great grappling, and he's only 26 years old. This kid did better against Felipe dos Santos than Manel K. I just can't pick against him unless he's fighting like a real good fighter like a Van or like someone in the rankings, really. I don't know who else I could pick him against outside of the rankings except Van, really. But yeah, for the second male fight of the card, we got Carlos Vera versus Josias Musasa. Woo! Oh, that's fucking horrible for me to do. I think I will go with Josias Musasa, and it's because this kid, he's 26 years of age, and he's from the Congo. He's like he would be a Drew Dober victim if you know what I mean, but he's got like that real power. You know what I mean? He's got that poor power, like a Francis Ngannou. And I mean it because all but one of his wins come by a knockout or a TKO. The only other win is a decision, right? And he's undefeated. 8-0, 7 wins by KO mainly. And he's fighting a 37-year-old with the nickname Pequeño. Like they're feeding him a can here. That's what they're doing. They want this kid to take off. They want a huge African market. They're going to go to Africa in 2026, probably South Africa. And they want some fighters for that card who can do good, who can put on an exciting showcase, right? I respect that. But I'm picking the African roofie here, bro. Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm picking Mini Ngannou. I just hope he doesn't turn out like an Angel Lusa or whatever that guy's name is. Angelusa, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going with African roofie here. For the third male fight of the card, I gotta make sure to say this guy's name properly, or else I'm gonna get canceled because it's gonna sound real bad. But we got Dr. Nergozea versus Brenson Ribeiro. I'm gonna go with Nergozea by round 1 KO. Because here's the thing. Brenson generally gets finished in that first round. He's a slow starter. and he has the worst defense in that round. When his opponent's fresh and they can catch him better, he tends to go down that round. If he makes it past that round, usually he survives. He makes it to a decision, right? But on the other side of it, not focusing on Brenson's weaknesses and only focusing on this up and coming Dana White Contender Series Kazakhstani light heavyweight prospects strengths. Nurgozaya is fucking huge and built like a bull. Like, he's wide. He's 6'2", built like a monster. Thick, I tell you. Thick. And he's got an excellent undefeated record and the ability to go 3 rounds, as shown by, like, having numerous decisions, right? He has great finishing ability as well, with most of his wins coming by KO. He also has submission power. And a lot of his KOs come from ground and pound, right? A lot also come on the feet, but still. And it's like, all that really tells me is I'm pretty sure he'll finish Brenson in the first. And he'll make a huge statement. And if he does really well, I think he'll go pretty far in the light heavyweight division. I think he has the grappling to do so. He might be the real Magomed Ankalaev. Who knows? But yeah, that's my pick for that fight. All right. For the prelim headliner, we got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Ryan the Super Sped Spann. I can say that. I'm a retard too. Anyways, I'm going with Spann by a round 1 knockout. Maybe round 2. Who knows? But I typed up a paragraph for this one in my notes. I went way too deep on the blob war here. I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, first of all, it ain't too hard to find Waldo when he's 260, wider than he is tall, and can't run a fucking mile. You know what I mean? That was a bad name for his parents to give him. Fucking put that kid in a striped shirt, you can pick him out of any crowd. But second of all, after my shitty stand-up, Spann is a light heavyweight moving up to heavyweight. And he's pretty athletic. He has good striking. He has good power, great power even. And he has good grappling. Excellent guillotines. Most his wins come by it. His only issue is his fight IQ, right? That shit sucks. If it wasn't for that shitty fight IQ, he could really be a top 10 light heavyweight, right? And here's the thing. If a guy has like the athletic potential and like the skill set potential to be top 10 at light heavyweight, and his only real issue is fight IQ, I definitely think he could be like top 10 at heavyweight because they lack fight IQ there. We saw with, like, for example, Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivak, where it's like Marcin Tybura doesn't know basic armbar defense. What the fuck? And he's like number 8 in that division there. So it's like, you know what I mean? Heavyweight's just a really shit division, and I think because Spann is like pretty athletic and moving up to like heavyweight, he'll be at least semi-athletic. I mean, shit. He's going to be top 10 there. Cortez, on his part, doesn't have like nowhere to take this fight. His grappling is shit, and if he shoots for a takedown, he's getting caught in that super sped gilly. You know what I mean? And his cardio is mid, so he can't really outpace Spann. And his striking was mid as well, with him having a close fight with Unk Arlovsky, where he was only getting rounds because he was emoting while Arlovsky was fighting for his life in there. Like, Acosta's all right enough to not be shit. Like, he's probably going to be, like, in the lower 15s of that division for a while just because he's young and he has moderate skill. But, like, he doesn't have the power. He doesn't have, like, anything unique about him, right? He's all right enough to not be shit, but he's going to crumble against somebody with light heavyweight skill and athletic potential. And I can't pick him. because Span has that light heavyweight skill and that athletic potential. It's just unfair, man. All right, for the main card opener, we got Yuso Young. This guy's name is fucked up, man. They really went all in with like they defrosted him from the Apex, right? And they gave him like just the most stereotypical Asian pervert name. Like, I feel bad for him, bro. Like, he's going to get so trolled on this fight week. I am certain of it. If he becomes anything, which he could be, he's 29 years of age, has a good grappling prowess. I mean, shit, he's gonna get trolled on. You're so young. You're so young. That's what he says to like the fucking 18-year-old schoolgirls. Shit, man. Anyways, we got Yuso Young versus AJ Cunningham. I'm going with Young by a round 3 stub. And here's why. AJ Cunningham. Yeah, AJ Cunningham is cutting down from lightweight to bantamweight. The last time we saw that was like against the guy that fought, I think it was Brad Katona or Cody Stamann, where he got schooled. He got schooled and he got fucked up, and I think he got finished. But anyway, he's cutting down from lightweight to bantamweight, so his chin and stamina are going to be shit. And he got KO'd twice in both his UFC fights, if we're counting Dana White's Contender Series here, as like a UFC fight. And he's pretty mid at the grappling. He gets taken down quite a bit from what I've seen. Yuso Young is 29, and he's a pretty good grappler with strong cardio. For example, he hasn't shot below 5 takedowns in the UFC, counting Road to the UFC, counting his first UFC fight, his debut fight. And he has reasonably good striking. Like, it's not bad striking. I think it's good enough for him to beat a guy like AJ Cunningham. I'm just going to go with Yuso Young. Yuso Young for champ. For real, man. Oh my god, that'd be the worst championship name ever, bro. Yuso Young versus Ilya Aptoro. My fault there. Still recovering a bit from a bout of bronchitis I had a while back. Every time I laugh too hard now, I cough and bah. Anyways, for the second fight on the main card of this fight night, I honestly think this should be like a little higher, maybe like third fight, because I think Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holloway shouldn't be above this. By the way, we got Damon Blackshear. Hey, Damon. I'm gonna get canceled for this shit. Versus Cody Gibson. I'm going with Blackshear by a round 1 sub, and let me tell you something. Gibson is all right. He's 37 years of age, and he's fighting a massive prospect in Blackshear. This kid pulled off a twister. Who does that? This kid finished Cody Stamann in the first round. Who finishes Cody Stamann in a round? Yeah, no, he pulled off a twister in the UFC and then made a week turnaround. Literally 1 week later, cuts weight the same week to 135 and fights Mario Bautista. And in my opinion, he was robbed horribly in that fight. He won that fight. He outstruck Bautista in the first 2 rounds, I believe. And he out-wrestled him as well. Out-damaged him too, in my opinion. There wasn't much damage in that fight, but most of it was on the side of Damon Blackshear. Like, this kid has real ranked potential. And he also pulled off a draw with Yusuf Zalal, who's currently ranked at top 10 at sorry, no, like top 11, I think, at fucking featherweight. And Zalal was way bigger than him and coming down from featherweight. Like, the kid has great level grappling. Like, he was out wrestling Zalal, and it's just he gassed out because he had to wrestle this much, much bigger guy, and eventually that drains you down, right? Now, the only issue with him is his record ain't the best, but he's only really lost to high-level competition in the UFC. Guys like Montel Jackson, ranked. Mario Bautista, he beat him, and he's also ranked if you say he didn't beat him. Yusuf Zalal, he had a draw with. Guys ranked. Farid Basharat. That's the only undefeated Basharat, bro. Kid is like the good Basharat, the only one that's like a genuine prospect, right? With like an ounce of skill. I'm just saying. And he recently beat Cody Stamann. Subbed him in the first, and he's only 30. I am going with Damon Blackshear here. That's just my honest to God pick. All right, for the third fight on the main card, we got Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holobaum. I'll go with Hernandez by 29-28 UD. Like, this isn't a very complex one. Hernandez is like all right at lightweight, and he's like high level enough to beat guys like Jim Miller or Beneil Dariush. And Holobaugh seems like a real bum. It's just a simple fight, you know what I mean? Like Hernandez, if you look at lightweight, he's only lost to the top guys at lightweight. He's losing to guys like Moicano, for example, at lightweight. At featherweight, he's a total bum. His issue is like he'll be on a little streak at lightweight, then he'll like lose a fight to a very high level guy. Because like the UFC, he was an established name. He KO'd Beneil Dariush. He had a co-main on the Dillashaw versus Cejudo card, I believe. That fight night with Cerrone, I believe. If I'm remembering correctly here. So it's like, he's got eyes on him. He always has eyes on him. He's a reasonable win at lightweight. So obviously they're going to give him the harder guys. And when he loses to those harder guys, he just moves down to featherweight, and there he looks like a real bum. He has no stamina there. He gets chinned real easily there, and he just gets out grappled because of the lighter man's skill. He's facing people with the lighter man's skill. You know what I mean? By the way, I'm going with Alexander Hernandez by 29-28 UD. Pretty simple. For the featured fight on the card, we got Sung Woo Choi. Fuck, that's a hard name to spell. The E before the U is crazy work. Versus Kevin Vallejos. I'm going with Vallejos by round 2 TKO. Let me tell you about this Vallejos kid. Let me tell you about him. Vallejos, he's an excellent prospect. I'm going to stop with the trail impression because it's low-key infuriating. But anyways, Vallejos, excellent prospect, 14-1. He's beaten like 10-0 guys, 14-0 guys on the regional scene. And his only loss is a UD loss to Gene Silva. He's been more competitive with Gene Silva than any of Gene Silva's other opponents. He won the first round off him. Had a close second, got beat up in the third. What you're gonna do? Kid's 23 years of age. Obviously, he like isn't experienced enough to have like the crazy stamina here, right? But he has the skills. And he has excellent KO power. So many TKOs, and he's shown his ability to go to a decision. He's shown he can finish people in that second round. He just sort of got drowned by the pressure of Gene Silva. No shame in that, right? Yeah. And on the opposite side, Sung Woo Choi, he used to be all right, but he's fallen off heavily. You know what I mean? He's gone 1-4 in his last 5, and 3 of those L's were finishes. 2 of those finishes were knockouts, and in his last 3, he's gone 1-2 with those 2 finishes being the knockouts. He has also like shown that he has a really weak chin because he got chinned out cold by Michael Trezano. Do you know who Michael Trezano is? I don't know who Michael Trezano is. He got cut after this performance because he also went 1-3 in his last 4. This guy got beaten by a guy on a 3-fight L streak. Like what? Chinned out cold. That's crazy work. But yeah, Kevin Vallejos, great prospect. I mean, here's the thing. For your parlays, I know a lot of people like parlays for their bets as well. I could see a pick for a first round KO from Vallejos here because he is going to win either way. He is a massive favorite. The only way to make any money off of him is to bet on him by like a finish, right? And most of his finishes do come in the first. But I think that Woo Choi is just simply UFC level competition. And if Vallejos has shown that he can take his time and be patient with those good opponents, and that's what makes me lean towards the second round. I would say by like strikes from a distance, probably like a hook counter, due to Choi having like reasonable takedown defense and not really being susceptible to that ground and pound. But anyways, as I said, keep an eye out for Vallejos. The kid is 23 years old. His only loss is to Jean Silva, and he has great finishing ability. Like, that's a perfect prospect. Nobody is hype on this kid yet. Get on this hype train. Trust me. I feel like the guy, please just put $1 into Bitcoin in 2012. That's what I feel like telling you all about this prospect, Kevin Vallejos. Anyways, for the co-main event, we got Elizzy Zaleski dos Santos. That's a hard name to pronounce, man. Dos Santos versus Chidi Njokuani. I'm gonna go with Dos Santos versus a 29-28 decision here, right? Here's the thing, you guys. Dos Santos, he just has the better all-round wins. He's 2 years older, but they're both real past their primes. And Njokuani has lost to way worse competition. I do the Chael impression is like a crack addiction to me. I can't stop with it. But anyways, yeah. Like Njokuani has lost to way worse like levels of competition, whilst like Dos Santos has beat much better competition. For example, he beat a debuting Benoit Saint-Denis before his like those notes before his strike. Before his hype, bro. Before his hype is what I meant to write. That's my bad, bro. He arguably beat a prime Renat and pulled off a draw with him because he like beat him so hard in I believe that third round. And he's coming off a brutal finish against a bum, but like still a brutal finish, right? And he had a great competitive fight with Randy Brown, who's extremely high level, who's having competitive fights with Brian Battle and arguably winning them. I don't think he did. Brian Battle did some excellent Muay Thai clinch striking in that fight, but like, shit, it was real close. It was down to the wire. The only way I see Njokuani winning is by using his like Muay Thai World Championships and utilizing his clinch striking like he did in his last fight. But even then, I just think he'll only like take a round off with that clinch striking. That's my honest belief. Yeah. All right, for the main event of the evening, my picks are gonna be simple for this one. Vettori versus Dolidze. Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. I'm going with Vettori by a 48-47 decision. And I'm just going to put it real simply. There's not, like, a lot of people overthink this, saying, like, Vettori is washed. He's coming off a bunch of injuries, yada, 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 right? No. Here's the simplest thing about it. Vettori has every statistical advantage. He's younger and still in his prime. He's got the striking and grappling stats on his side, with him having a higher striking defense, strikes landed per average, takedown defense, takedowns landed per average, takedown control time. It's like all that stuff, right? All of that's in his favor, right? And it's against better competition. He's fighting guys like Whitaker, like Izzy, like Cannonier. Roman Dolidze is fighting guys like Kevin Holland, Jack Hermanson, who beat his ass on the feet and only lost because he decided to shoot a dumbass takedown and got caught in a calf slicer. And Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is literally Dolidze's best win. Plus Vettori schooled Dolidze in the third round of their fight. He's got like way better cardio. I wouldn't be shocked if this becomes like a 50-45 decision or like a 49-46. But I can see Dolidze pulling off like the first two rounds maybe. I could see it happening. I do think he's improved deeply. But it's like, that's really all, right? And like Dolidze always slows down in that third too. It's not just something we saw against Vettori, right? Like we saw against, like when he dropped the third to Anthony Smith. He dropped the third to Anthony Smith. That is crazy work. And I'm just going to end this pick off with a simple thing. Dolidze is like the Abu Bakr of Georgian fighters. I'm certain y'all remember Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov, but if you don't, he was like this huge welterweight Dagestani fighter who trained out Khabib's camp, and he ended up losing like 3 fights in the UFC and got cut. And after his first loss, Khabib took his computer and smashed it because he was playing too much PUBG, right? That's like Georgia and Dagestan are both having like huge surgences right now. Georgia is like having like the massive rise and all that stuff, and they're like similar regions, similar everything. They're very similar, right? In like their fighting style and culture and all that stuff, right? Not religion, but whatever. So I feel like it's reasonable to say Dolidze is the Abu Bakr of the Georgians, because like he's training out of the country, he's doing all this stuff, but he's like their most mid fighter. Like he really is. He has the most losses, all that stuff, right? He lost his O to Trevin Giles, I think. I may be wrong, though. I may be going crazy. Might be someone else I'm thinking of. Which, if he did, that's crazy work. But either way, I'm going to close up the picks. I do have a little bit of advice, though. If you guys are going with a parlay here, go with like Vettori by decision. Go with like Vallejos by like TKO. And I would say go with Span by TKO and Lima by decision. That should be a very, very good, very safe parlay. Very likely to hit. Probably going to fetch you like plus 700. I haven't checked the odds on it yet. But it's a good parlay. Trust me on this, guys. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a lovely evening. Make sure to like, subscribe. You all know the drill. Instagram coming soon. I'll be dropping more videos this week. I just got to edit this one, and then I'll start working on the script for the next one. Once we hit, like, I would say 100 subscribers maybe. Shouldn't be too hard, right? I already hit like 13 in the first 2 videos. Yeah, once we hit like 100 subscribers, who knows? I'll start doing polls so you guys can like choose what video ideas out of like my ideas you want to do. But yeah, have a lovely evening, y'all. Thank you for watching. I deeply appreciate it. I don't need the YouTube channel, but like I really do like doing stuff like this, talking about MMA is one of my passions, right? But yeah, thank you all. Have a lovely evening.